With studies finding that over 175 million Americans live in worst-case scenario zones for chemical disasters, there's a high probability that a nearby chemical accident will one day appear on your newsfeed. So what do you do at that point? Sure, you can watch the news for a generic description of the incident, but this information may not be relevant to your specific location. You could attempt to access federal tools for clarification if you're in a vulnerable zone, but maybe the email never comes because there's no one around to send it. It's situations like this that highlight the need for fast, reliable, decentralized threat warning tools. In this demo, we show how the AwAIRe dashboard leverages the rapid deployment capabilities of FileCDN and localized weather data from WeatherXM to provide a fast, secure method of importing incident data and rapidly deploying threat analysis tools for the public. The focus is currently on chemical releases. To get started, the authorized user simply has to perform a secure upload of the incident report to the AwAIRe tool using Filecoin services. For this case study, we're using data from a train collision that resulted in a hazardous release of chlorine gas, potentially putting operators and nearby communities at risk. Right now, we use whitelisted wallet addresses to verify the data comes from an approved source, for example, a first responder on the scene. However, we would eventually like to implement a token-based verification system. We extract the relevant details from the report, which feeds into the initial threat model. The tool then fetches live weather data from the nearest WeatherXM station, if available, to display the initial threat zones. And in a few clicks, we can provide streamlined, vital information to the public about the hazard levels in their surroundings. But even with the initial threat zones rapidly deployed, evolving weather conditions such as wind speeds can quickly change these boundaries. Another key aspect of the AwAIRe tool is the ability to provide real-time updates to risk area predictions. Right now, we provide the ability to refactor the initial threat zone display based on changing weather conditions provided by WeatherXM. However, we're also working on including predictive modeling, such as the identification of inversion layers, which can trap chemicals and significantly increase the risk of chemical persistence and exposure. Let's go ahead and enable the live weather feature. And we can see how the threat zones have increased in scope, informing the local community that a larger area than initially expected is at risk. Thanks for considering the project, and we'll continue to build on Filecoin services to keep the public aware of chemical exposure risks.